So I got some positive feedback on my previous video, and I realized that there might be people who go onto YouTube and search for Asperger's syndrome to try and find out what it is, or if they have it, or just how to live with it. So I'm going to make a video about the symptoms of Asperger's, because most of the symptoms that you see on the internet are actually kind of wrong. I don't agree with them. They are inadequate, if you will. So I went to Yahoo, because I don't use Google, and I searched for Asperger's syndrome, opened first link, and got their list of common symptoms. And here is my response to their list. Oh, and if you're wondering, the link will be up in the thing, in case you want to see the list. Their first thing on the list was that you might have a problem with picking up social cues and knowing when to start a conversation and when to start talking if you're having a conversation, and picking up body signals and stuff like that. And to that I say, kind of, but it's not actually 100% true, because you can learn, obviously. Just because you have Asperger's doesn't mean you can't understand people. Because I love psychology, and I've read up on all the body signals. I can tell if a person is angry or if he's bored of my talking, most of the time, because I actually learned it. You might go, well, everybody has learned, right? But no, most people actually pick it up as they're kids on their own. They don't need to learn it. It's instinctual for them. Somebody with Asperger's simply don't know that. They have to either learn like me, or they might be oblivious. So it's partly true, but it's also false, because you can train away the symptom, which is interesting, because you can't train away symptoms for other things, like diseases, but Asperger's isn't a disease, now is it? The second thing on the list is that they dislike changes in routine, and that's also partly true. I have insomnia, so I get woken up every morning by a company, basically. And if they wake me up too early or too late, my day is ruined. I don't know what's going on. It just feels wrong. Which means that the routine is something that's important. You want to have it there. If you normally put something in a certain drawer, you always want to put it in that drawer. However, you can change your routine. You don't have to have the same rigid box to live in your entire life. You can be impulsive, as long as you get to plan that impulsiveness in advance. I have the rule of I want 1 day in advance, otherwise I won't do it. If somebody calls me and asks, do you want to come over? I say no. But if they ask, do you want to come over tomorrow? I say sure, why not? I just want the routine and the planning for security, I guess. That doesn't mean I dislike changes in the routine. I can change which drawer I put something in or when I do what. I just don't want anybody else to change it for me. The third thing on their list is that people with Asperger's lack empathy. And I call bullshit on that, because I have a lot of emotions. I'm very emotional and caring and loving to certain people. The thing is, when I don't give a rat's ass about strangers. That doesn't mean I don't have empathy. I mean, I can understand how people feel, and my friends I care deeply about. So I have both empathy and sympathy. It's just that it's very, very selective. It's kind of insulting to say that people with Asperger's don't have empathy, because we're very honest and loving people. We just act kind of rudely. Especially if we're talking to strangers. However, if we have friends, we do care. I have a dog, and I love him more than anything on the planet. I would kill myself for him, but that would be kind of unnecessary. But still, I would die for him. The fourth one on their list is that you might have... Well, basically it's saying that if somebody tells a joke, for example, in a sarcastic tone, you might not get it. You might think they're serious. And that's very true, actually. At work, I work as a chef. It happens all the time that the chef tells me to go put something in a pot, and I go and try and put it in the pot, and he goes, "What the hell are you doing? I was joking." And I go, "But you told me to put it in the pot." Because I don't pick up on the signals, again with the first one on the list. I simply don't pick up the signals. So if you signal to me that it was a joke or use a special tone, I'm not going to pick it up. It also says that your tone of voice might be flat. I don't think my tone of voice is flat, because I keep going up in falsettos. But it is certainly weird. And I have watched a lot of Aspies YouTube videos, and some people there have very monotone voices. Personally, I'm basically from the part of Sweden that's technically I'm like a redneck of Sweden, so my accent is very rich, let's say. But still, most people with Asperger's might have problems with keeping their voice interesting. They don't notice it themselves, but other people might, because those people pick up on very small details like voice pitch, which Asperger's people simply do not care about. The fifth one is that they use certain unnecessary words. Most people with Asperger's have an interest for words. I'm talking English right now, so you can't tell very well, but in Swedish I use old-timey words all the time because they're fun to use. The thing is, why we do that and why we have interest for words is that we don't have the same body signals and instincts for body signals that normal people do, so we want to express ourselves more clearly, and for that we need more specific words. Pretty much all of the people with Asperger's correct themselves all the time because the thing they said didn't quite match what they meant, and since they can't show what they meant, they have to say it more specifically. The sixth one is that they avoid eye contact, and of course I mentioned in the previous video that I don't like eye contact, and I don't think many people with Asperger's do. However, that doesn't mean I can't handle eye contact, or that if I am with a loved one, I don't want to look them in the eye, because I do. It's personal and sensual. That's why I don't do it with strangers. The biological reason for looking people in the eyes is that you want to keep checking their emotions. You want to see if there are signs of anger or whatever, and see if they are believing you or if they are lying to you. But since people with Asperger's can't pick up those emotions anyway, they can't pick up the facial expressions, that point is kind of mute. So they don't have to look people in the eye, simply.